factory of the world. This is one of the things that I have in mind. This unity has undermined our ability to mobilize our resources, to catalyze the collective dreams of the continent's citizens. Africa's unity is therefore sacred to me. We must return unity to the top of our priorities as Mwalimu Nyerere and Nkrumah did. Without unity in a fast consolidating and changing world, Africa will continue to be marginalized, exploited and irrelevant. It is why today I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to open your minds to a new Africa. Imagine an Africa that's booming with industry, where businessmen and women from Bamako in Mali can take the transcontinental high-speed rail to trade in Kampala, Uganda, where the cotton material from Lomé in Togo can be bought online by our housewife in Lusaka, where African products can be bought in supermarkets across the world under the name of African brands owned by Africans, and the African workers and farmers are proud of their products. An Africa that does not require visas for other Africans. An African men and women who do not climb on a rickety boat or in an airplane cargo hold, risking their lives to go to greener pastures. I envision a continent whose progress is driven by its own people, that pushes to be a dynamic, influential, and respected force in the international arena. And here, again, the barriers which we place on ourselves. My friend Aliko Dangote, one of the most prominent African businessmen, tells me, Raila, it's so difficult to do business in Africa. I need 35 visas to travel across the African continent. Yet my French competitor does not need any visa. The French passport can go to all African countries. How then can you compete? How can you benefit by being African? You're being punished because you're an African. These are some barriers which make us look just stupid. In Europe, when I was living there, traveling in Europe was very difficult. You had to have a visa. When I was traveling from Germany to Britain on a train, I needed a visa to transit through Belgium or Holland, 2 visas. And if you did not have that visa, they put you back on the train back to where you came from. Today, you don't need a visa in Europe. The Schengen visa, you can go to any country in Europe. You only get, if you're traveling by road, you only get to know that you have crossed the border by seeing the different registration numbers. And so Europe has become a village. Why can you not do that in Africa? I intend to see that we introduce Africa, the AU visas, like the Schengen visa. So my leadership at the AU will not be one of the same rhetorics, where people meet a few times a year and return to their enclaves. My leadership will be pegged on the dreams of our forefathers, who expected that by now Africa would roar in one united voice. So here, we know, every year there's a General Assembly here. The jets come, land, and they move in here. Coming into these premises is not as easy as you came today. Today it was easy because you are coming to meet a candidate. Then those days there's a lot of security. Then there's a lot of talk in the halls here. Monsieur le Président, this and that, resolutions are passed, and off the jets will leave again at Addis Ababa. I can tell you without fear of contradiction that 93% of these resolutions which are passed here are never implemented. That is by confirmation from Mr. Faki himself. So it has become a talking shop. I intend to change that to ensure that all the resolutions which are passed here are properly implemented. So we will not put anything in the agenda and the resolution if we know it cannot be implemented. And if it's not implemented, we'll have a very good reason to explain why it was not implemented. My vision for the youth is to place them at the center stage and driving force behind the innovation and change. Today, African youth are drowning on ships and boats, rickety boats, trying to get to Europe, going to greener pastures. It's a big shame that we're losing young, energetic people because of the poverty on our continent. So the solution is to change this by creating proper employment opportunities on the continent so that they don't have to leave the continent going to look for jobs where they're not wanted. You're ramped there as a refugee, you're taken there as a prisoner. It's a big shame. So these young people will find jobs here. Picture vibrant cities buzzing with energy as young entrepreneurs leverage technology and creativity to build dynamic businesses. With AI and digital resources at their fingertips, they invent solutions for our unique challenges, transforming agriculture with smart farming technologies, revolutionizing healthcare with telemedicine, and reshaping education through accessible online platforms. Our young minds are not just participants in the global economy. They are leaders, innovators, and change makers. My economic transformation plan envisions an economically transformed continent, thriving on the richness of its resources and the unity of its people, a continent that not only sustains itself, but is a powerhouse of global trade. The African Continental Free Trade Area will be more than a policy. It will be a reality. Imagine goods flowing seamlessly across the borders, facilitated by advanced logistics and digital platforms, creating jobs, fostering innovation, and ensuring that no Africa goes hungry. My environmental sustainability plan envisions our rich biodiversity. It is protected, and our natural resources are managed wisely. In the face of climate change, we lead the way in renewable energy, harnessing the sun and the wind power to power our homes and industry. Our agricultural practices need to be regenerative, preserving our land for future generations and ensure food security for all. Africa is not the offender in this debate on climate change. Africa is a victim because Africa's emission is less than 5%, about 3%, somewhere there. But Africa suffers the biggest effect in this animal called climate change. Many of African countries today live between two twin disasters: floods and drought, El Nino and the sister La Nina. The floods, when the floods come, they destroy homes. People drown. Our infrastructure is devastated. Bridges are washed, and so on and so forth. And when the drought comes, livestock is dying. People go hungry. The There's no food, famine, and so on. So first, we need to make our contribution to this agenda of climate change by greening Africa, rolling back the desert. But we are also the biggest arable land available today on the planet Earth. So we make use of what we have on the continent. But in the negotiations for compensation, if we go as Benin, as Cape Verde, as Egypt, as Senegal, as Kenya, they just look at you. I have been in those COPs. I was in COP 15, I was in COP 16, I was there in Copenhagen, I was in Cancun, Mexico. I've been in a number of those COPs. I was in Sharm el-Sheikh. Now I'm not going to Baku next week. It's Baku, and next year it is in Brazil. But it's a talk show. People talk and they keep on pushing you, pushing you. They make promises of billions, but when it comes to contributions, nothing is happening. But if Africa negotiated as Africa, it would be a different matter altogether. But if you go as individual countries, you will keep on being pushed left, right, and center. And that's why we must have one agenda on this issue, climate change, and say this is what it is, these are our terms. Gender equality and inclusion. In this ideal Africa, gender equality is not just an aspiration, it is a reality. Women and girls are empowered, need to be empowered to pursue their dreams, leading in every sector, from technology and politics to education and business. African woman has made a lot of contribution in history. African woman is the breadwinner in most of African societies. She's the one who wakes up so early in the morning to go to the farm, to go and farm. She's the one who is looking after the children at home. She's the one who is also fetching water to bring at home. The one who is cooking in the home. And then in the evening again, she's the one who is the workshop. So African woman is a great enemy, a great human being. African women must be given their rightful space. They must be respected and empowered. We must ensure that their voices are heard in every decision-making process, creating a balanced and equitable society. Cultural renaissance. Let's envision a cultural renaissance in Africa. An African that celebrates its rich heritage while embracing modernity. Our art, our music, our literature resonate worldwide, showcasing our talents and telling our stories. Festivals and cultural exchanges thrive, reinforcing our bonds and inspiring future generations to cherish and promote our diverse cultures. Of course, with this ambitious dream, there must be a plan, which is why my campaign and my leadership have come up with an extensive technological innovation plan, utilizing artificial intelligence as its bedrock. In this future, we embrace technology as an enabler of progress. Cities are smart, utilizing AI to optimize everything from energy consumption to transportation systems. Education is accessible to all, with digital classrooms that open doors to knowledge regardless of location. Our health systems are strengthened through telehealth and AI diagnostics, ensuring that every individual receives quality care. But fundamentally, my rallying call is the leadership of Africa, that we join hands and make sure that no African is left offline. Every African should be online. And now let me conclude. A call to action. Today I invite each one of you to imagine this Africa, a continent bursting with potential and brimming with possibilities. As I present my candidacy for the position of chairmanship of the African Union Commission, I'm committed to turning this vision into reality. But I cannot do it alone. It will take all of us, leaders, innovators, and every citizen working collaboratively to dismantle barriers, foster unity, and pursue excellence. Together, let us harness our collective power to create a future where Africa stands tall on the global stage, an emblem of resilience, creativity, and unity. Let us embark on this journey towards a brighter and more prosperous Africa. Africa is the richest continent on the planet Earth in terms of strategic raw materials that have made other parts of the world rich. The paradox is that the richest in terms of resources is also the poorest in terms of living conditions of these people. This is what we need to change so that African people can be rich people. We have been blaming others in the past, but the time for blame game is gone. Now is the time to act as Africans, and we take our destiny in our own hands, and we work collaboratively to uplift the living conditions of African people. There are those people who do not believe that Africa can develop. So they are what they call Afro-pessimists. Afro-pessimists are those who think Africa is a lost cause. But the Afro-pessimists, like myself, are those who believe in the ability of the African people to develop Africa. Africa will not be developed by foreigners coming to Africa. The foreigners will come to invest, not to develop, but to make money. But ultimately, Africa will develop with the brains and energies of the African people. And that's why you've seen the story I tell of the African lion. That African lion is a very resilient animal. And here the African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger. The African lion is, as you know, Africa, the lion is a revered animal. The Cameroonian soccer team is called the Indomitable Lions. The Senegalese soccer team is called the Lions of Teranga. The Moroccan national team is called the Atlas Lions. And in East Africa, we call the lion Simba, Mfalme wa Msitu. That the lion is the king of the jungle. When it roars, the other animals listen. So the African lion is giving a message to the Asian tiger. That you, the Asian tiger, you have danced alone on the stage for far too long. I was asleep in the jungles of the Congo. But now I'm awake. I'm surrounded by the mighty mountains of Kilimanjaro and Kenya to the east, the Atlas Mountains to the west, the rivers, the Niger, the Zambezi, the Limpopo, the mighty Congo, the Nile, and I'm sitting on African oil, African gold, African bauxite, African copper ore, African iron ore, African diamonds, and now have the knowledge and ability to turn all this wealth into prosperity and to liberate my people and make them rich and powerful and claim the 21st century as an African century. End of the message of African land to the Asian tiger. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to applaud. Yes. Let's please continue to celebrate him. He has one more thing to add. Give him a minute, please.
I'm very sorry. We have here Ambassador Selma Maliki from Algeria. Is she around? Yeah, maybe she might want to come and say jambo. Because, as you said, we wanted, if there was any other candidate in the audience, give him a chance to greet the people. But I've not seen any other candidate for the chairmanship. If there's any, none. For the vice, this is the only one available here.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jumu'ah Mubarakah. Hujambo. Good evening. Bonsoir and salamno. I consider myself very lucky because I'm here with you this evening, and I would like to say that I am grateful to Mheshimiwa Prime Cabinet Secretary and to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, for this opportunity. The fact that you have both of you have had the generosity to invite today all the candidates, and I happen to be one, for the position of DCP, while we are gathered today and this evening for the launch here in Addis Ababa of the campaign of Honorable Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga for the position of Chairperson of the African Union Commission, shows how healthy the spirit of Kenya is.